Hey, around this time on Friday mornings, we spend some time with the folks from Lakeview Health. And, of course, they help people who are dealing with drug and alcohol addiction, and they get people on the path to recovery. They're located right here in Northeast Florida, and we'd like you to reach out to them if you have any questions. If there's somebody in your life, in your circle of friends, family, neighbors who are dealing with drug and or alcohol addiction, we would encourage you to call this number, 866-316-5113. That's toll-free, 866-316-5113. And we're going to put this number and all this information up on our Facebook page as well. Nick Goslin joins us here in the studio again. He was with us last week, and he is part of the professional team at Lakeview Health.
Nick, good morning, Kevin.
How you doing?
Doing great. And yourself?
See, now you've been on 2 weeks in a row. You're going to be on the payroll pretty soon.
I hope so.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And you brought along two very special people that are part of the Lakeview family, if you will, one on staff and another one that's a former patient, right?
Yes, sir. This is Lauren and Jack.
Hey, Lauren, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing fine. Get the microphone a little bit closer to you there. So you're in charge of wellness there, which I think would be probably pretty key, right?
Yeah, I came on to Lakeview about 3.5 years ago and have kind of built up our wellness program from there.
Okay. So when people come into treatment, how do you go about helping them, regain wellness, if you will?
Right. So when they come into treatment, usually with us initially, they're starting with detox. So they kind of go through that phase for the first week to 2 weeks, depending on what they're detoxing off of. After that point, when they are medically cleared, that's when they begin the wellness program with us. Mm-hmm. So they're training with us anywhere from about 6 to 9 weeks.
Wow. And then when the program is done, what will we see? What changes will we have seen, at least from a wellness perspective?
So we see a pretty big transformation because our facility's open to them 7 days a week. So they're in there doing group fitness classes. They're working one-on-one with personal trainers. They're involved in yoga classes, swimming. So we have a lot involved with our program. So we see a lot of physical changes taking place. So whether it's building up their strength, their endurance, increases in muscle mass, different things like that, as well as some of those emotional changes. So we see improvements in body image, self-confidence, and things like that.
There you go. Very interesting stuff. Well, once again, Lauren is with us, and she manages the wellness program at Lakeview Health. You can learn more by going to lakeviewhealth.com. Nick Goslin is here with us, and he works with men each and every day who are successfully, dealing with addiction, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And last week we learned about your story because you have an interesting backstory as well, right?
Yes, sir. I came through Lakeview almost 4 years ago, so
right.
It's pretty awesome to be a part of the team now and to see the growth in the other men.
Right. And you see, I guess, in some of those other men exactly what you were like when you first started down this road.
Absolutely. That hopelessness, that despair coming in the first day, and then when they leave, they're becoming a bigger part of the family.
Well, we're excited, too, because you brought along with you today one of your successful graduates.
I did. This is Jack.
Jack, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Man, thanks for coming in. So, hey, if you wouldn't mind, kind of give us your story.
All right. Well, we don't have too much time here, so I'll give you this
plenty
short version.
Time.
But, well, I grew up in the area, and through high school, went to school, obviously played sports, and like a lot of kids, I think got kind of wrapped up in the party scene. And I come from a long line I'm from an Irish Catholic family, so a lot of drinkers.
Right.
And by the time I got to college, I realized that I had a little bit of an issue, and I've actually this is my third time seeking help at Lakeview. So it's an ongoing battle always, but I had a couple years clean and sober, and then fell off, and Nick and some of my other friends were still around from that I knew from my previous journey, and heard all about Lakeview and some of the newer things that they were doing. I was familiar with the program, but they had kind of ramped it up a lot, and so when push came to shove, I decided that would be my best option. So I did that, and spent 29 days there, and it was great. They have everything on site: nurses, therapists, great cafeteria now, pool, gym, as Lauren was speaking to. So it was just an all-around really great experience.
Right. I would imagine, Nick, there's a lot of folks listening to us where they have experienced maybe some form of rehab and then they've relapsed, if you will. What often is happening when that relapse occurs?
So with relapse and recovery, a lot of it has to deal with just kind of letting go of the things that kept you there in the first place. Just sticking with the basic stuff, going to meetings, calling people, staying connected. People get their stuff back disease. When you start getting your stuff back, you start letting go of the things that kept you sober in the first place. And I did the same thing. I'm not one of those guys that came in and got it the first try either. The first attempt for me was at 19, and it took me till I was 22 until I got sober. So
wow. Well, once again, that's Nick, and Nick's here. Lauren is part of the team, as is Nick, the professional team at Lakeview Health. Jack, a successful alum. We're going to learn more from them, so stay tuned. In the meantime, we encourage you, if you have any questions at all, the phone call is not going to cost you a dime. You're going to get some information, and information is power in this situation. Call toll-free 866-316-5113. That's 866-316-5113. We'll be right back. That's Free and All Right Now. That's kind of an appropriate song, right, Nick?
yes, sir.
Yeah, because you're all right now.
I am. Daily reprieve. So.
Daily reprieve. So once again, Nick is with us, and Nick is part of the professional team at Lakeview Health, which helps people with drug and alcohol issues. They've been a part of our community here in Northeast Florida for a long time, and they have had some tremendous success with people right here in St. Johns County and St. Augustine. And Lauren is here as well, and she works in the wellness program there. How did you go about getting into doing that?
I've been involved in the field of health and wellness for a long time, so I knew going into college I wanted to stay within that field. So I went to the University of Florida, got my degree in exercise physiology, and then went on to grad school from there and got a degree in exercise science. And I worked with a lot of different populations, from athletes to elderly to teenagers, and then landed back in Jacksonville after grad school and was kind of looking for different positions, and was told about the position at Lakeview Health to kind of launch their wellness program. And addiction has dramatically affected my family, so that was definitely intriguing to me. So and especially just working with this population, having the opportunity to give back, and it's such a rewarding position because we see those changes taking place on a daily basis.
Right. How different is it to institute a wellness program for this community as opposed to some of the other communities you've worked with? You said you've worked with maybe seniors and others in the past. So what makes this population unique?
Well, I tell people when I came on, because I had never worked with the field of addiction before I came to Lakeview, that it was a bit of a culture shock at first. So especially working with this population, you're dealing with a lot of behavioral issues that you don't see in a lot of other populations. So it's accommodating those, as well as when they're coming in to work out for the first time. Usually it's the first time they've ever been into a gym before in their life, or it's been a very long time. So we're basically starting off from scratch. And the other thing that's very different with this population is they're most often coming in with a lot of previous injuries that they've neglected over the years. And thankfully, I've been able to build up a staff that's very familiar with working with different injuries. So we have all different kinds of limitations and medical issues coming in that we deal with on a daily basis.
And I guess, too, you have people that are at different points of, sort of health, if you will, physical health, because of their addictions.
Right, absolutely. And we have a very wide age range as well. So we're starting with, we have 18-year-olds in there up to even 60, 70-year-olds. So we might have both of those in one class, as well as beginners with more advanced lifters.
People that are listening to us right now, and maybe a loved one, and they are thinking that their child maybe, or a friend or whatever, would be a good resident patient at Lakeview Health. When they first enter Lakeview Health, I mean, how soon is it that they would start a program that they would get involved in wellness?
It's pretty soon. So basically they go through the detox period, and after that they're cleared by medical, and then they begin with us immediately after that.
Right.
And every person is different. So a lot of times I'll start off with them, and we're working with them in their room on a exercise mat on the floor, just getting them through some stretches, working on pain management. And then from there we progress them on.
Interesting. That's Lauren once again, and she directs the wellness program at Lakeview Health. Jack is here as well. He is a successful graduate, I guess, right? We could call you that. From Lakeview.
I hope so.
Yeah, and in progress, right? Always in progress.
Always in progress.
Always in progress. You talked about relapsing in the past. What's worked for you this time? I mean, why are things working pretty well right now?
Well, I think the holistic aspect is really important. As it's a holistic disease, right? It's mind, body, spirit. So I think paying adequate attention to all of those on a daily basis is really important. So meditation, in the mornings or whenever you need it. I've been doing a lot of that. Fitness has always been a part. Like last time I was in recovery, fitness was a big part of it.
Right.
There's a lot of displaced energy and all that when you clean up, and as well as just stress management, because a lot of things come back, and then the spiritual aspect, which I think really I get at least from being around other people with the same struggles, and kind of you can bounce things off of each other, and everybody's there for you. Everybody knows how you feel. So
that's Jack once again, and he is successfully in recovery, and we're talking with him about his story, and of course he has been fairly recently to Lakeview Health.
That's correct. I've been out for almost a month.
Okay, all right. And Nick, you worked with Jack, right?
Yes, sir. Jack was successfully discharged about a month ago, and he's remained in contact with me and part of the alumni program, and he stays in the recovery community. He helps other guys out. Like, that's the most important thing, is just being there for each other.
Yeah, absolutely. Jack, help us out here. A lot of people that are listening to you right now are listening to this radio program, have a loved one, somebody, maybe their child, maybe their grandchild, maybe a friend, maybe a coworker, and they believe that person is struggling with drugs and alcohol. Give them some advice. What can they do to have helped somebody like you a year ago?
Well, that's a tough one.
Yeah, because we tell them that obviously they can call this number and they're going to get some advice and so forth. But beyond that, what can they do, or maybe they can't do.
Well,
anything.
I think in some cases there's really not much you can do. Unfortunately, I think the best thing to do is probably to calmly and understandingly try to get them to see the error in their ways.
Right.
Because there's really not a lot of success in trying to force people into recovery.
Right.
It just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like, for example, my first exposure to recovery when I was 18, and despite needing it badly, I wasn't ready to accept it. So I went into a program much like Lakeview down in South Florida, and within about a week or two of getting out, I was back doing the same thing. And luckily for me, in my case, I came to the realization within the next couple months, and that's when I started the few years that I was doing well. But it's different for everybody, and I think you might have more success if, for say, like you mentioned, people who might be out there that have been in recovery that have relapsed and maybe are stuck in that relapse, because unfortunately some people come in for 6 months, a year, 5, however long, and then they go out and they can be out for years and years too.
Right.
And I can't imagine. I can only imagine the struggle that those people are going through, because it's once you've been in and seen the other side, it's pretty horrible to go back.
Yeah, I would think. Nick, people have relapsed. How often do people experience a relapse, do you think? Just based on your professional experience.
Oh, it's hard to determine. A lot of guys come in 2, 3, 4 times before they get it. I've seen people come in on a daily basis to places and different recovery places, and can't hold 24 hours together. It's a struggle. It really is. It took myself getting to that point in my life where I didn't like reality, and I didn't like using drugs. There was nothing in between. I couldn't live with or without them. My family, that's one of the hardest things, was my family realized that they were enabling me and that they had to cut me off.
Yep.
So anything that I could say to any family member out there is to realize that you can't love someone to death.
Right.
And it's unfortunate that people are, you care a lot about a family member, a daughter or a son or a brother or a spouse, that you want to be there for them all the time, but what all it really takes is stepping back for a second and letting them realize the error in their ways, and they need to change
And let them hit rock bottom on their own.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 26 minutes now after 9 o'clock, and we're spending time once again with the good folks from Lakeview Health, a drug and alcohol rehabilitation center that's located right here in Northeast Florida. You can learn more by going to the website, lakeviewhealth.com, and also you can call toll-free right now, and they'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. 866-316-5113. That's toll-free, 866-316-5113. We'll be right back. Billy Swan and I Can Help, and before that, Lean on Me from Bill Withers here on 103.9 WSOS. And hey, we're spending time this morning with the good people from Lakeview Health, drug and alcohol rehabilitation facility community located right here in Northeast Florida. They do some amazing work with people from all around St. Johns County and really from all over the country. And Nick is here with us, and Nick heads up the you're part of the men's program there, right?
Yes, sir. I do the Alumni Coordinator for the men's facility and recovery coaching.
So that's got to be fulfilling, right? Because these are men that obviously you've seen them as they go into treatment. Now you're working with them when they're out of treatment, and you get to see them get back into, enter the real world, right?
It is. It's really, really rewarding. And the amount of guys that come through, unfortunately, there are the ones that don't make it and end up coming back. But it's good to build that rapport with them while they're in there, because I'm that person that they turn to when they do realize that they have a problem and they want to come back and seek help.
What are some of the issues that you help people with? Obviously, they're at Lakeview Health for rehab, and they go through that very intensive treatment and work for a while. Then they leave, and then you're still staying in touch with them. What are some of the challenges that they face after they leave Lakeview Health?
So I'm just a resource for them. I'm a sounding board. If they need help finding meetings to go to, or they need help either getting to do another sober living, I help them get resumes put together, get stuff put on monster.com or whatever. But it's more along the lines of just being like that peer-to-peer recovery relationship. I've got a lot of people in the recovery community that I'm friends with, and I try and link up as many guys as possible with those friends.
That's Nick Goslin once again, and he's part of the professional staff at Lakeview Health right here in Northeast Florida. Jack is here with us, and he is to date a successful graduate of that program. Jack, what have been some of the challenges you faced after you left sort of intensive residential treatment at Lakeview?
Well, I moved into a sober living house in Jacksonville Sober Living. So that's been a good transition for me. I'm living with 7 or 8 other guys that are all in the same boat. One of my buddies just moved in yesterday. Just got out of Lakeview.
What are the challenges that you face each and every day? It's the challenge that things get boring, and what's the challenge?
Well, being in recovery is a challenge every day. A guy that I respect in the program, I heard the other day say, he wakes up every day to untreated addiction. So it's just something you gotta treat on a daily basis, and a big part of that is changing your people, places, and things. So, which is another thing that they like to say. So you gotta, addicts tend to be very loyal people, right? And so they have a hard time disconnecting from some of their old relationships, even though those might be negative relationships, myself included. But you gotta, at the end of the day, you gotta just kind of know who your real friends are, who supports you and who doesn't. But I could probably talk all day on challenges. Trying to deal with your thoughts,
right?
And trying to realize that you can't act on your impulses and all the different thoughts that you have, because they got you where you are. And so that's where another thing where your friends and your support network comes in, because you can get that out of your head and have somebody tell you how crazy you are.
And you're really having to, Jack, build a whole new life, aren't you? Because you're having to basically say, I need a whole new set of friends. I need a whole new approach to life.
And I'm consider myself very fortunate in that I haven't even really started my life yet. I still have a semester left at school, and also very fortunate to have my parents supporting me. So right now I'm really 100% focused on getting my sobriety back and figuring out how to maintain it, because as I mentioned, I had it before and wasn't able to hold on to it. So there's I'm sorry, I've lost my train of thought.
You've done a great job.
Again, I'm still fresh.
Yeah, no, you've done a great job. Lauren, a lot of these folks like Jack, obviously they can find some, as they rebuild their life, being physically fit or having something else to pour some of that energy and some of that focus in. To be honest, maybe even some of that addictive personality. It might not be so bad to be addicted to the gym, right?
Oh, I am.
All right, yeah, because you look like you're in great shape. Nick, you're all right too, but you're not Jack.
That is something that we talk to them a lot about, is using exercise as one of their coping skills once they are discharged. Because when they are in early recovery, they're dealing with a lot of different emotions that are going on a daily basis. So whether it's that stress or anxiety or depression that's going on, exercise can be a great outlet for that in early addiction. So even when they're in treatment, my team works very closely with the clinical staff. So if we have a patient that has had a bad family phone call or they're having a rough day, then they let us know, so that when they do come into the gym, we can show them how to use exercise as a good release for those emotions that they're dealing with.
We're teasing you, Nick, but obviously you work out a lot too. So has that been part of your recovery too, to stay physically fit?
Absolutely. Being in the gym is one of those things that's my meditation.
Okay.
That's where I can get in, and meditation to me is just focusing on one thing and clearing my mind of all the other thoughts. And so when I go to the gym, that's the spot where I can be with Nick, and I can take that time and use it for something productive.
Yeah. Do you find that too, Jack? I mean, that's what you're doing too?
Absolutely.
So you're in the gym every day?
I am.
All
I
right.
actually was telling one of my buddies at the house that we need to take a day off because I'm worried I'm going to hurt myself.
Wow. But that's a good place to redirect some of those impulses, right?
Absolutely. You get those. Everybody has bad days.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just need to get out and push some weights around and go for a run, just to kind of clear your head out and think. But there is the polar opposite side where people do get very involved with the gym. We're addicts. So I know people that become very addicted to the gym.
Right.
And you create the injuries and stuff along those lines. So I do know both sides of the coin.
Right.
It helps me a lot, and I stay connected with people. Going to the gym with people in recovery and hanging out.
Good stuff. Well, that's Nick, and he's part of the professional team at Lakeview Health. So is Lauren. She manages the wellness programs there, and Jack is here with us too, and he is a successful alumni of Lakeview Health. You can learn more yourself by calling toll-free 866-316-5113. And the phone call is not going to cost you a dime. You're going to get some good information. Everything's confidential. 866-316-5113. We're going to put all this information up along with a photograph of our three special guests this morning up on our Facebook page at WSOS Radio. So check that out here in the next few minutes.
Let it all out.
Blues Image from back in the 1970s, and that's Ride, Captain Ride, and we're getting closer and closer to 10 o'clock. If you're just joining us, we've been spending time this morning with the good folks from Lakeview Health, drug and alcohol rehabilitation community located right here in Northeast Florida, and they help countless number of folks right here in Greater St. Augustine and St. Johns County who are indeed dealing with alcohol and drug abuse issues. And Jack joins us here. He's actually one of the successful graduates, and you're from St. Johns County.
I am, right up the road.
Yeah, so proud son of St. Johns County, and you're on a great path to recovery. And I would imagine every day now you get up, I know it's a struggle, I know it's hard, but you got to feel good. I mean, don't you at some level
I feel
pretty
great.
excited?
I feel great. And as I mentioned earlier, having had some time in recovery before and then going back, the just misery of that is indescribable, really. And so to be free from that again is truly a great feeling.
Yeah, well, congratulations, and we're all proud of you.
Thank you.
So keep it up. And Lauren, I guess you have an interesting job, too, in that she manages the wellness program there, and I guess you get to see sort of up close and personal people, like you said, that, once they go through detox, they go into your program, you get to watch the transformation with these residents, right, as they get to a better place.
Right. And then I would say that's the most rewarding part of what I do, is just kind of watching the change that takes place while they're with us. So I do see that physical and emotional transformation take place over the 6 to 9 weeks that they're in treatment. And then before they leave, we set them up with an individualized fitness program, so they can continue on with the training once they leave our program. And then it's neat because I do hear back from them months, years later, of them continuing on with the exercise program like Jack has, and they'll call me to tell me the results or how much their body fat has changed or how much muscle they've put on. So it's neat to see them continue on with it.
Well, that's great. And congratulations on your good work. And Nick Goslin is here as well. And he, of course, you get to work with them once they leave the program. So we're sort of like working our way through the continuum of care here. But that's pretty good stuff.
Absolutely. And Lauren is very modest about the Health and Wellness Center at Lakeview. She actually designed it.
Wow.
It's one of the nicest facilities that I've ever been in. There's an indoor track. There's a pool out back. Sweet sound system. It's awesome. Every machine imaginable, and the trainers there are bar none. Some of the best. Shane, Daniel, Storm, and Norman. There's some great guys that work up there. They do yoga classes. They really prepare them for getting out and doing the real deal once they leave the facility.
Yeah, well, it's good stuff, and it's an amazing program and a great facility that has, a lot of supporters out there, and it's done great work for so many people. If you know somebody in your circle of friends, in your family, and they are struggling with drug and alcohol addiction, you would like to learn more about this as a potential solution or want to connect them with Lakeview Health, they can help you with that. They can help you with the process of trying to reach out to the person in need. You can call them, and they'll be happy to speak with you right now. Toll free, 866-316-5113. Again, that telephone number, toll free, 866-316-5113. Lakeview Health. Also go to the website, lakeviewhealth.com. Folks, thank you all three very much for being with us this morning. It was a great hour. It went by fast.
Yeah, it did. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yeah, take care.